Hey farmers, hope you're well. This morning we've started transplanting in the greenhouse. Come along to see what we're planting and what you can plant too. This one had to be returned because I made a mistake. Come with me and I'll show you everything now. For more than 10 years, I've been telling you about this, my farm, how to grow a vegetable garden. I share my experiences with you. I give you strategies. I just ask you one thing, subscribe to the channel. Many of you keep watching my videos, but you're not subscribed. I'll also explain the reason why. I want our community to keep getting bigger, but above all, I want to be able to welcome more and more people. It's about sharing and learning together. I need to grow, and it's only right that you grow too. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's return to the video. So let me show you more or less. These are the seedlings that came from Palazzina. We'll be able to put almost all of them in the greenhouse except for a few. I always get my seedlings from Palazzina. It's my trusted nursery. We've really been working well together for years. So I get all the seedlings with full certification in packs, really well done. Now, at this moment, what did we go get? We got various types of lettuce. We got Trentina canasta, which I've already planted. I'll show you. Then in the greenhouse, we got Gentile, which is this one, a little lettuce, and we got iceberg. As for the lettuce, right now it's better to plant Gentile in the greenhouse or under a covered tunnel because it's a type of lettuce that gives a lot of satisfaction. It grows very quickly, so in about 20 days, in my opinion, you can already eat some, but it needs a slightly warmer temperature. As for iceberg, let's see if it fits. If it doesn't, we'll plant it outside in the field later. When we're in these conditions, we can keep our plants going for another week. Then we have parsley, which is what we're going to do. A nice row of parsley, very simply for cutting. At this point, we're going to plant the parsley and we'll pull it up around June after a series of cuttings to replant it. That's because the more you cut parsley, the more it grows. Anyway, it tends to get a bit tough and lose some of its flavor. We have red beet or beetroot. Here you eat both the top and the bottom parts. We'll plant this one in the evening. To have it ready quickly, you can already plant it outside in a few weeks. Mid-March, early March, you can already put it outside. It's usually ready in about 40-50 days and it's very rewarding because we can treat it like Swiss chard, but we can also treat it as a bulb, the chard root, and then let it grow big. I like to make bonbons, so when they're a little smaller, we also have our Swiss chard, which is this slightly smaller one. These are smaller, those are a bit bigger. We also put these in the greenhouse to have them ready for the beginning of April. Now, if we go ahead and plant things, we have a good chance of getting a good harvest pretty quickly, I'd say by the end of March or the beginning of April. Then we have the onion. I got a long red one, which we're going to plant here in the field. Now, if you look here, we need to get to work, gentlemen. We need to work the land. Yesterday, 70 millimeters of rain fell. A real treasure. From here, we'll pull up the tops. We'll work the land. I think we'll start planting in 15 days, 10 days at most. We'll go get them and plant everything. I've already picked up the seedlings because they were smaller, so we can still move forward with them. And especially because they're calling for a week of sunshine. If there's a week of sunshine, it means it could be 17 degrees with the wind. The soil dries faster, so I can get to work right away. In short, I prefer to have them here rather than not have them and then have to scramble, because when the weather is good here, you have to get things planted right away. Come on, I'll get the Gentile. We're talking too much. You'll spot the Gentile immediately. Just notice the difference in the leaves. 1, 2, we'll put it in my little cart. Fantastic. Original little cart, patented. By the way, that's a little cart that maybe few people remember. I got it back in the early years of the Poderi. It was green. You can still find it, in my opinion, on Amazon, and we repainted it, fixed it up a bit, welded it a bit, but that's how it is. Well, let's go. Come on. Now I'll show you what I mean. It rained a lot. Here you see it's all mud. See, it was all dry after 60 millimeters. Now we should also finish picking up the last firewood, but it's this one here we should do the work. This year, let's make a note about drainage, because you see there's always too much water collecting and that's not good. You see it's really slippery. It's like the Olympics here. What else? You put in a lot of effort. The premise is that we are a farm, so the goal of a farm is definitely to sell its products. And up to this point, I'd say we're on track. Why am I making this premise? Because we're working with a slightly different perspective than someone who maybe has a home garden and maybe even with different timing. Let me explain better. As you can see, this greenhouse is equipped with covers that go over everything. I used these covers last year and they're really convenient because we can work without weeds. This year, though, we're doing a test, a bit of a gamble. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll see. The gamble is for now. It's more or less the end of February. Then we'll see each other again. It's coming, huh? This is the basic idea. Now we're putting in here lettuces, Swiss chard, and beets. More or less, they should all be ready for harvest around mid-April, by mid-April. Here it will be empty, we'll work the soil again, put the covers back on, and around mid-April we'll start planting tomatoes, zucchini, and so on inside. It's a gamble because we're a bit tight on time. If the lettuces stay longer, we risk having the greenhouse occupied. On the other hand, it's a gamble because there might be a bit more work, maybe eaten up. So, about weed control, as you can see, the planting density is much higher. We're doing various tests. On the other hand, yesterday, as I showed you outside, about 60 minutes of rain fell, and even the greenhouse, I note that it's leaking, but the soil is wet, so it's not the optimal moment. But if we wait any longer, we risk delaying everything. And so the trick I told you about earlier might not work. It's a gamble, we're giving it a try. I'll also show you a bit of the working method we've seen, which is more or less the fastest. There are 3 of us working. I take out the seedlings and I'm putting them in these baskets. There's one person who lays them out properly and another who transplants them. Generally, I don't do this work sitting here, but I do it directly in the field. I take out the seedling like this and I already put it in the right place. Why are we doing this? Because the soil is nice and wet, so it actually takes more time to pick, unpack, and plant than the other way around. Then salads are easy to transplant, they're pretty quick, so we put them in baskets. Usually even there we use trays, meaning I would put them back in. We're not using these baskets because they're a bit stiffer, so right now they're helping us work faster. Keep in mind that in about 4 hours we'll be planting, I think, around 5,000–6,000 seedlings. Out of these, I think we'll lose about 200 for various reasons, sizes, and so on. We have 5,800 seedlings to sell, not bad. There are lettuce seedlings. At this point, I'll show you the technique to pull out 3 plants at a time because many people can't do it. First of all, the best plant is the one that has grown properly so its root reaches more or less underneath. If the plant isn't big enough, it slips out, you just need to press. I do it on 3 at the same time. Press here, you see it starts to come out. You pull slightly and your seedling is perfect. Let me show you. Press, look how it goes down. Now look how it goes down. See, you pull and the seedling comes out. The seedlings, look, I do 3 at a time. 3 done, put it in. 3 done, put it in. See, it's a very quick process. It's best to always make sure the seedlings are nice and wet, really soaked with water. Okay, now, at this moment, it makes it easier to come out the other side. Pay close attention. Right now, it might not seem that important, because the soil is still moist, especially when you're transplanting. Be careful to have the soil really wet, so nice and soaked. It means that if I squeeze now, water comes out, and that's important because this way we give it a water reservoir that becomes essential, especially after transplanting. Go ahead, and that's how the work continues. Here we put our trays, which we'll sort later. It's a nice job. Here we were a bit wider compared to these. The main difference is in the first row. We made a bit of a mistake. They were a little too wide. But that's because these are varieties that grow a little more, so that's something to keep in mind. The others are more delicate, so you can keep them a bit closer together. So then you see that here you can really make little terracotta shapes if you look, but it's just one part. It's already drier. Good, not great, but let's work anyway, and you'll see that the result will still be excellent. We're at the end of the day. We started this morning. I think it was, 7, 7:30, 4:30. We finished transplanting about 4,000 or 5,000 plants. We didn't transplant exactly everything we wanted to transplant. Now, are you seeing me give these miraculous blue balls? It's ferric phosphate. We use it against snails because now the snails will overwinter. They'll sense all these lettuces and we're already giving it to them in advance. Ferric phosphate, look, you see it, it's something I recommend to you. Just so you know, when we worked the soil, we had the presence of little snails. Going to agliolo now is a good solution. Keep in mind that what we're using, which is allowed in organic farming, has a withdrawal period. That means we have to stop using it about 3 days beforehand. Let's do a bit of planning. We're in the last week, the last 10 days of February. As you can see, I'm in short sleeves because the weather is hard to figure out. Now it's about 15 degrees this morning. It was 2 degrees. So in the next few days, let's see if we need to close our greenhouse. The basic idea would be the beginning of April, the last part of April, the beginning of April, before we even start harvesting, more or less. Having the greenhouse empty, almost the whole greenhouse empty by mid-April, and then planting in mid-April, zucchini and tomatoes so that the tomatoes can grow. We'll plant them in the evening in 2 rounds to let them grow longer. Technology. You can tell their engineers here to finish up later with some autumn work that we'll do. I still don't know exactly when. We'll apply the ferric phosphate in about 20 days, so that means at least 20 days before we harvest our vegetables. I'll show you what's left. We have a bit of parsley underneath. We have the chard. I want to wait a little longer because some of them are still a bit small. I'll show you. It doesn't fully fill the little pot, so when I go to transplant it, you see it tends to fall apart. Good or not great? Let's wait a few days for them all to become nice and big. So we weren't able to put in the other part because the soil was very wet, so the conditions weren't ideal. Same for the beetroot we have down there, which is still quite small. Palazzino told me, and I replied that I still wanted it because, as I told you, I prefer to keep it here in the greenhouse, but to have it. And anyway, we still have the land over there that's not ready yet. As for the soil, if you come here and take a look, come. It was worked on in a rather rough way. Rough, I repeat. It rained a lot. What are we going to do? We're going to irrigate from above in the next few days so that we can give our little plants a good drink. Later, we'll combine this with our strategy. Anyway, the drip system is the most delicate part. The weather isn't too hot, but since it's the first 10 days, it needs to take root well. Remember, we made the soil block nice and wet, so the soil is already moist. Basically, I'm telling you this because it's a good thing to do. So if you want to go ahead with the transplant now, at this moment, I'll tell you what you can do. Even outside of a seedbed, though, you can do parsley. We can do it outside. Iceberg lettuce and other salads can be grown outside, and we can transplant Swiss chard and beets. It's best to cover them a bit to help them grow. We can go ahead and do the sowing. We'll do it in about 15 days. Green beans, peas, and fava beans can be done now during this period. It's great to plant onions, garlic, shallots, all the bulbs. We still have another round that, in my opinion, would be good to do. For now, I would stop and wait for the rest as well. Because we risk stressing our plants. Stressing means the plants stay small, they don't grow, and this leads to a series of problems. So I hope this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. As you can see, I'm trying to tell you not only how to make a vegetable garden, but also how to manage a farm. I'm sharing with you the thoughts, reflections, and discussions I have with other farmers, as well as the strategies I'm studying. So you see, when I tell you, look, let's try to do this, try that, move forward with this, it's meant to be an open discussion with you. That doesn't mean it's the best strategy. That's why I want you to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think, any advice, what you're doing on your farm, and how you're moving forward. Let me know down below in the comments. Matt the Farmer. See you in the next video. Bye, everyone.